Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sabah Mukhtar.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. May the peace and mercy of God be with you. My name is Sabah Mukhtar, a biology major on a pre-medical track at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, with the aspirations to serve our underserved population. In these uncertain times, some of us might find ourselves doubting where we fit in this society. Personally, this visit by our president is an affirmation to all Muslims we are just as American as any other. It's a gesture that invites inclusiveness of all faiths and color. More importantly, it's an assurance for the Muslim American kids constantly bombarded by anti-Islamic rhetoric that they belong. Fortunately, I've had personal interactions that have allowed me to reach a much different perspective than what is normally portrayed on the media. When most see this piece of cloth on my head, I don't automatically get deemed terrorist. Rather, most see me as an individual. My experiences have taught me that most are accepting and believe, regardless of faith, color, or gender, we are all Americans, and as such, we are all obligated to uphold the rights of every individual. Connecting with my community here at ISB allowed me to form my Muslim identity. My journey to where I am today started the first day I decided to wear my hijab as a junior in Pikesville High. I was so nervous to walk down the streets to my bus stop thinking, what will my friends think, that I'm a terrorist? While I did receive a few remarks as such, most were reassuring, like Jake from my bus stop, who nodded at that thing on my head and said, "Hey, that's pretty cool." Never did I feel as though I wasn't part of the community. I was just as American and just another high schooler. Assertions as such are what gave me the confidence to be who I am today. And I strongly believe to a lot of Muslims out there, the appearance of our president in our local mosque today does exactly just that. And personally, reassures me that I, a proud, Black, Muslim, African American, I'm just as American and have the obligation to fulfill my loyalty to my country as any other. So thank you, Mr. President, for this historic visit that will serve to inspire every American to engage in the work of building bridges across communities. And now, it is my honor to introduce to you the President, our President of the United States, President Barack Obama.
Please be seated. Well, good afternoon. And Sabah, thank you for the wonderful introduction and for your example, your devotion to your faith and your education and your service to others. You're an inspiration. You're going to be a fantastic doctor. And I suspect, Sabah, your parents are here because they wanted to see you. So where's Sabah's parents? There you go. Yay. Let's give. Good job, Mom. She did great, didn't she? She was terrific. To everyone here at the Islamic Society of Baltimore, thank you for welcoming me here today. I want to thank Muslim American leaders from across this city and this state, and some who traveled even from out of state to be here. I want to recognize Congressman John Sarbanes, who is here, as well as two other great leaders in Congress and proud Muslim Americans, Congressman Keith Ellison from the great state of Minnesota, and Congressman Andre Carson from the great state of Indiana. This mosque, like so many in our country, is an all-American story. You've been part of this city for nearly half a century. You serve thousands of families, some who've lived here for decades, as well as immigrants from many countries who've worked to become proud American citizens. Now, a lot of Americans have never visited a mosque. And to the folks watching this today who haven't, think of your own church or synagogue or temple. And a mosque like this will be very familiar. This is where families come to worship and express their love for God and for each other. There's a school where teachers open young minds. Kids play baseball and football and basketball, boys and girls. I hear they're pretty good. Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts meet, recite the Pledge of Allegiance here. With interfaith dialogues, you build bridges of understanding with other faith communities, Christians and Jews. There's a health clinic that serves the needy, regardless of their faith. And members of this community are out in the broader community, working for social justice and urban development. As voters, you come here to meet candidates. As one of your members said, just look at the way we live. We are true Americans. So the first thing I want to say is two words that Muslim Americans don't hear often enough, and that is thank you. Thank you for serving your community. Thank you for lifting up the lives of your neighbors and for helping keep us strong and united as one American family. We are grateful for that. Now, this brings me to the other reason I wanted to come here today. I know that in Muslim communities across our country, this is a time of concern and, frankly, a time of some fear. Like all Americans, you're worried about the threat of terrorism. But on top of that, as Muslim Americans, you also have another concern, and that is your entire community so often is targeted or blamed for the violent acts of the very few. The Muslim American community remains relatively small, so several million people in this country, and as a result, most Americans don't necessarily know, or at least don't know that they know, a Muslim personally. And as a result, many only hear about Muslims and Islam from the news after an act of terrorism, or in distorted media portrayals in TV or film, all of